Mr. Kers. What has brought you to the African Work Conference?
Well, as a matter of fact, we signed up as a sponsor for an ABC about the beginning of May this year. And one of the things was participation in the Africa Works conference. Yeah, that's why we're here, to sell our company, to find new sources. I don't know, just for the marketing of our company. Let's start there and see what comes out. It's the first time for me here, so let's see. You have something as you always need a first time. That's today.
That's true. And what I have understand is the company specializes in lift transport, heavy lift transports, and it's very successful in Ethiopia. What's the key factor of this success?
Well, we about 10 years ago we tried to set ourselves as a total logistic service provider, especially in the heavy lift and the project shipping industry. I think what's important for us is that we're reliable, that we're financially reliable for our vendors, and that we're competitive. We say what we think, but we do what we say. And that's a good combination.
I think that's a good way to start. And what are the challenges you found in investing in Africa?
Well, what we found is, of course, that in the very beginning there were so many barriers that we did not realize that just to overwin them was a win on itself. And nowadays we run a good show there. We do a very good show. We've done a very big project recently in the windmill industry, and yeah, well, Africa and Europe, it's not a concrete highway that's easy to go. So you have to find your way around how to get where you want to be. But make sure you get there.
And what's your objective for Africa for the coming years?
That also depends on the business. If the business moves from, say, Ethiopia to Mozambique, we may move along. But we need to make money. After all, we need to put the light on to start working and make a salary. So if the business would drop for Ethiopia, we may have to move it. On the other hand, Ethiopia developed rapidly, does good, solid. I can see ourselves positioned there in 25 years even better than today.
And what do you need for kind of support from, let's say, the government, the private sector?
Well, I think primarily our strength, but that applies for our business, is to market yourself and to build up a market knowledge and a network. That's yours. And as long as you go from your own strength, you don't depend too much on third parties, then you have won 75%. And then you're slowly getting to costing level, then it's just a few more steps to start making money. So the risks are much smaller then. So we try not to depend too much on third parties or authorities. Of course, we may run into political problems in some country, but we'll solve that at that time. We focus on Djibouti, Ethiopia. Then there we think we know the majority. And if we then put it all together quite well, then it's interesting.
And to close, what's the uniqueness to doing business in Africa for the Steder Group?
If we would start this kind of an operation in Houston, we will have 2,500 competitors. We may be having now 2 or 3. So that makes it unique. You really solve logistic problems. And there's just 1, 2, maybe 3 that can do so.
So what you are saying is there's not a lot of concurrence.
There's not a lot of competition, but I would say there's enough competition, but not in terms of knowledge and having the equipment and actually doing the thing. If you go to the Dutch freight forwarding market and you'll ask 500 colleagues of mine, 450 will say, we'll do so. But at the end, there's 4 or 5 that will do so. See, so that's the challenge, to continue to stay one of the 4 or 5.